creepy Gavin Plum filmed passers-by from his council flat while planning the kidnap, rape and murder of Holly Willoughby, neighbors said. The security guard had a CCTV camera pointing towards a grassy square that locals in Harlow, Essex, said regularly had children playing on it. A sign outside the ground floor property's window read, "Smile, you're on CCTV." Plum's trial heard how his obsessive behavior extended to a female neighbor whose pictures he had taken from her Facebook page. One local said, "I know he had a camera out on his sitting room window facing outwards, to look at people going past." Another said, "It is really bad to think, isn't it, that was happening right opposite us? We did see him, he would put a chair out there and sit out there. Just outside the front of his flats, smoking or vaping. He'd sit there and did think, what is this guy? Who is he? He was only there for 2 years." She added, "He used to get picked up in a driving instructor's car. I never saw him stop to speak to anybody. I thought he was a bit odd. A lot of the time I used to think, can that flat see in, because there was something weird. I've just put blinds up since that. I've never had blinds, I've always had curtains." The news of his arrest was a shock to her, and she said, "It's scary to think that he could plan something like that. I always thought it was really strange how he would just sit there. He'd drive past and he didn't care, he'd just sit there, literally where the bins are, he would sit. And even at weird times like 8:30 at night, he was a weirdo." She added, "How do we know he wasn't just sitting there filming?" Another resident said, "We heard him supporting Liverpool, because when the game was on we could hear him chanting and stuff, so yeah, he's a fan, but other than that we didn't really know his face even." They added, "I thought he was a loner, rather than having a girlfriend or anything like that." Another person living in the vicinity said, "He was very much a loner. I would see him sometimes waiting on the side of the road for a cab, but that is pretty much it. His world was that computer, wasn't it?" Born in February 1987, Plum was one of 4 brothers who were raised by his mother and stepfather in Harlow, Essex. A neighbor at his childhood home described how he played on the street outside the family's semi-detached council house. She said, "They seemed like a normal family and the kids would all be out on the street in those days." Currently weighing 24.5 stone, balding Plum wore a grey sweatshirt and dark trousers throughout his trial. He walked slowly from the dock to the witness stand and gave evidence sitting down, saying he was not well enough to stand. Plum told jurors that he first started struggling with his weight at age 13, which impacted his confidence. He said he had trouble forming relationships in his teenage years, adding he was regularly in the friend zone with girls and nothing more. His only serious relationship began at the age of 18, but he said it soon became extremely toxic. He told Chelmsford Crown Court, "It was constant arguments, there was constant, the things that a couple were doing as in having a normal relationship kind of thing, we were constantly arguing, we were constantly at each other." The father of 2 said the impact on him was massive, adding, "I was constantly put down, I was constantly told I'm not good enough, she can do much better than me." Plum claimed that his attacks on 4 female strangers on trains and in a Woolworths store cupboard were cries for help and attempts to get away from his ex-partner. He was working checking tickets in railway car parks in 2006 when he tried to force 2 air hostesses to get off a train in the space of 3 days. The second incident involved an imitation firearm, a cap gun, which he claimed he didn't realize was in his jacket. Plum was jailed 2 years later when he threatened two 16-year-old girls at knife point and bundled them into a stockroom at a Woolworths store where they all worked. He served half of a 32-month term. Around the time he left prison for false imprisonment, Plum, who was 5 feet 10 inches, said his weight was fluctuating between 18 st and 26 st and he spent 99.9% of his time online. It was during this period he said he became interested in bondage and sadomasochism, known as BDSM, following a brief sexual relationship with a woman in 2014. He admitted he had purchased a kit from Amazon that included a whip, lead, shackles, blindfold and clamps with black rope. Plum said he spent his life online, playing games on Xbox and deep in fantasy discussions about celebrities, admitting that Holly was his celebrity crush. In June 2018 Plum underwent gastric sleeve surgery and had to spend extra time in hospital due to complications. He said that 10 days afterwards he had shed 10 kilos and was eating pureed food including scrambled eggs and mashed potatoes. He told the BBC at the time that he had not left the house for 4 years after hitting 35 st and quitting his then job at Pizza Hut for health reasons. He said, "The last time I went out unaided was 2014, it was my parents' wedding vow renewal. My weight has always fluctuated. When the weight started to pile on, that was when my mental health really went down. It's a vicious circle. When I'm depressed, I eat, and when I eat, I'm depressed. For a long time, I found it difficult walking around. I hate sitting indoors. I hate looking at the same 4 walls 24/7. I hate being the size I am." In police body-worn video footage of his arrest last October, Plum told police, "What are you talking about and please explain to me what the hell is going on." When told he was being held over an alleged plot to kidnap Holly Willoughby, he responded, "I am not going to lie, she is a fantasy of mine. I mean, she's a fantasy of a lot of guys, isn't she? Follow Mirror Celebs on TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube and Threads."